the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
And one time. What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
Brian.
And it's the Courtside View Podcast. And we are back today. And it is Friday. And man, NBA playoffs is near. I can smell it right now. The last week of the season is upon us. And the Western Conference is a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, yes, especially seeds like 5 through 10.
Yes. Actually, 5 through 11 because you got the Mavericks that's outside looking in. A lot of stuff is going on in the Western Conference. These final 6-7 games of the season is going to be so important for a lot of teams. Man. So, let me look at the standings because they just updated recently. And I believe the Pelicans, as of right now, are the 7th seed. Minnesota is the 8th seed. The Lakers are the 9th seed. I think OKC's the 10th seed. And Mavericks are the 11th seed, outside looking in. And then the 5th seed, I believe it's the Clippers. 6th seed is the Warriors. 4th seed is the Suns. 3rd seed is the Kings. 2nd seed is the Grizzlies. And is the Grizzlies 2nd seed? I think they are the 2nd seed. 2nd seed is the Grizzlies. And then number 1 seed is the Suns. So, though that is the standings.
Nuggets?
I said the Suns. I meant the Nuggets. Yeah, number 1 seed is the Nuggets. So, yeah, those are the standings for the Western Conference. And tonight, the games tonight are going to determine a lot, especially Minnesota and the Lakers. Because if the Lakers win that game, they will be the 7th seed, I believe, because Minnesota played one more game than them. But Minnesota has the tiebreaker over them. So let's say they finish with the same record. Minnesota will usurp the Lakers because they won the matchup.
Yeah.
So 3 games. And all I have to say is, Lakers, it's time. It's time. LeBron, Anthony Davis, especially Anthony Davis. You, Anthony Davis. I saw your comment, what you said. You guys are looking out for revenge after all those games you lost against those teams in the past weeks, in the past months. I like the confidence, but Anthony Davis, I need you to back it up. Because you saying all this stuff, it's one thing if LeBron says it because he backs it up every time. But you, Anthony Davis, I don't know what I'm going to get every night. So show up, show out. Karl Anthony Towns, he's playing tonight. People were comparing Karl Anthony Towns to you 5 years ago, saying that they would rather build around Karl Anthony Towns than Anthony Davis. I need you to show up tonight, Anthony Davis. I need you to prove me wrong. I need you to show the world that you still are a superstar and can possibly lead a team to a championship. Prove me wrong. Because against the Bulls the other night, you look like a top 10 player. But then the game before that, you looked not even a top 20 player. So show up, show out. Lakers, this is such a huge game. This is arguably the biggest game of the season. If you lose this game right here, chances are you're probably not going to get the 7th seed. You're probably not going to get the 6th seed because the Timberwolves, their remaining schedule is cupcake-esque. It is so easy. Get the job done. Beat the Timberwolves. You have LeBron freaking James back. Anthony Davis, it comes down to you. You're talking, you're saying all this stuff, but at the end of the day, back it up. I know Austin Reeves, he's going to back it up. D'Angelo Russell, he's a supporting player. So it comes down to you, Anthony Davis. Show the world that you mean business. But yeah, so I thought LeBron James was going to come back with 3 games left. I didn't think he was going to come back with 9 games left. That's why I was like, I don't think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. Because I didn't think that a LeBron-less Anthony Davis team would be able to hold down the fort until LeBron comes back with 3 games remaining. But guess what? I guess we'll never know. Because LeBron came back. You say, oh, it's HGH. You know what? You can speculate all you want. Speculate whatever you want. You say he's taking steroids. You say he's putting illegal stuff in the system. Whatever it may be. But guess what? He's back. And I have full confidence in this team now. I have as much confidence as I did back when the trade happened. Back when I was wearing that fur coat with them shades and that chain on. Because you have LeBron, you have Anthony Davis with this supporting cast. Oh my gosh. It's just I just can't believe we got this. The Lakers.
Aren't y'all trying to ship off Malik Beasley already?
He's trash. I know he is. Hey,
is he the new Danny Green? That's the vibes.
Nah, he's worse.
Oh.
He's worse than Danny Green. At least Danny Green plays defense. At least Danny Green does something reasonable. At least Danny Green doesn't turn the ball over.
I remember how many more memes got.
I that's because he couldn't make a shot to save his life. But at least he played defense. At least he didn't turn the ball over. At least he didn't get away from his other teammates. This guy listen. First of all, Malik Beasley. I hope your father-in-law gets well. So that might be one of the reasons why he's not playing particularly well. You know, his mind is on other stuff. So that's number one. I wanted to get that out of the way because I wanted to, give my condolences. But besides that, he's just not playing well. He's unplayable. And Darvin Ham, this game right here is going to come down to 2 people. Darvin Ham and Anthony Davis. Darvin Ham, we nearly blew. He nearly blew the game against.
Why the game not on year 20?
Because I expect LeBron. He's going to show up. He's going to be
Okay.
a positive no matter what. Even if he doesn't score 25 points, he scores 20. I expect he'll still do something good. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, is a different problem. Like he might have only scored 13 points and only grab like 7 rebounds. Like that's who he is. And then it comes down to Darvin Ham and these adjustments during the game. He nearly blew the game against the Chicago Bulls because he played Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder at the same time. These 2 guys cannot coexist together on the floor. And he decided, you know what? I'm a sub out Austin Reeves. I'm a sub out LeBron James. I'm a sub out the entire starting lineup, and I'll bring in 2 negatives on the court at the same time. And guess what happened? The Bulls made it to a single-digit lead. And guess what happened when Darvin Ham subbed out Malik Beasley and brought back Anthony Davis in the game and Austin Reeves? They were up double digits. So it comes down to Darvin Ham's adjustments, substitutions. If he understands, if he's smart, he would realize that, number one, stop playing Malik Beasley. I'd rather see Lonnie Walker get some minutes. I'd rather see more Roy Hashimura minutes than Malik Beasley. The shooting, we already have that taken care of.
Y'all need to be playing Lonnie Walker then.
Yes.
Or Max Christie, something.
Yes. I'd rather take a chance on Max Christie than I would Malik Beasley. He is a negative more than a positive now. And hopefully Darvin Ham reels like this. This is a playoff. This is going to have a playoff feel to it. This game right here against the Timberwolves. Because the Timberwolves, man, they are scary.
And they home.
Absolutely.
They're favored about 1 point, which is odd because they just lost Nas Reed.
Yeah, they before they lost to the Suns, they were on like a 5-game winning streak, and they were playing really well. Cat was playing well. Anthony Edwards. They're going to want to win this game. They expect to win this game at home, so it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a battle.
I need a Rudy Gobert defensive masterclass on A. Disney over there.
Nah. We need Rudy Gobert to fold like he always does. So, Darvin Ham, I need to see something from you. I need to see You actually coach. These are the moments. These are the times where coaching truly matters. I need to see it from you. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistakes that he always does. Because against the Chicago Bulls the first time, that was atrocious. That should have never happened. The stuff that he was doing in that game, absolutely foolish. So it comes down to you, Darvin Ham. I better see something from you tonight. But anywho,
side note, is Jokic playing tonight?
I would hope so.
Because the Suns are favored by 10 points.
Whoa. Wait a minute. That don't make sense. Let me see.
I'm looking at it on FanDuel. It says Suns favored by 10 points.
Man, let me see. Let me look at ESPN. Wow, maybe I don't know. That's interesting. I know they sat him out yesterday against the Pelicans,
which is a shame. The Pelicans won, right?
Yeah, they won convincingly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the side. Oh, I'm gonna get to that later on about sort of Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, and I'm gonna bring up the record when Nikola Jokic doesn't play versus the record when Joel Embiid doesn't play. And interesting. It'll be very interesting what I say. So later on in the podcast, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that game, I'm really looking forward. Hopefully, Nikola Jokic play because the Suns and the Suns versus Nuggets game. That could be a Western Conference Finals game or a Western Conference semifinals matchup, and I really wanna. I would really want to see that because Kevin Durant is back and stuff. I just hope Jokic plays. He didn't play last night, and I thought it was because it's a back-to-back. They want to monitor, make sure.
They might be resting him up. They have a 3-game lead on the Grizzlies.
That is a good point.
But then again,
the
Grizzlies could get hot.
I still want to see it though. I'll be disappointed. Like let's talk about
or what they might. No, that's not. Never mind.
But yeah, so last night's game, the Suns versus the Timberwolves. Kevin Durant didn't have a good game at all. His first game back. The Durant stopper, Jaden McDaniels. Anthony Edwards, he hyped him up. I guess he was right because he was doing a really good job.
They got Kevin Durant. We got Jaden McDaniels.
But I'll say this: that was on Kevin Durant. He was rusty. I didn't think Jaden McDaniels had too much effect on him. Sure, he did the best he could, but at the end of the day, I've seen Kevin Durant hit those shots 1,000 times before. And I just think he was rusty. He was settling for a lot of shots, but I was impressed by the Suns for this reason. Chris Paul, he hit a lot. He hit some clutch shots down the stretch. Devin Booker, he carried the load as well. DeAndre Ayton was still playing soft. I don't know what it is about DeAndre Ayton, but he's just so soft.
I don't know.
The fact that Anthony Davis was getting bullied by this man in the playoffs, just looking back at that, it's shameful. He should be ashamed of himself. DeAndre Ayton is just so soft in the paint. It's just unbelievable. He should be coming out of college. I thought he was going to be like a David Robinson, blocking shots, a defensive anchor. He is not that at all. Like he's just very soft. And they gave him like $170 million. Whew. He is stealing money. He is stealing money from the Suns because he is not worth no $170 million. Oh my God! But I'm not mad at it because they're the Suns are in the Western Conference and they're in the Lakers division. So by all means, good job, Phoenix. But yeah, that game I was definitely impressed by Phoenix because the Timberwolves, they have their whole entire squad. They were healthy. They were on a 5-game winning streak. And the Phoenix Suns were able to prevail. With Kevin Durant, I think he went 3 for 18. Like, he did not have a good shooting night at all. I was very impressed. I don't know if you watched the game.
I was watching. I was.
Okay, what was your impression of the game?
Yeah, like I said, Kevin Durant was stinking up the joint. Chris Paul did seem to be doing more than usual. Yeah, Kevin Durant, he went 5 for 18. And Chris Paul had a nice little 19, 3-6 game. Only 6 assists. Yeah, I mean, I ain't really watched. I wasn't like too locked in. I think something else was going on at the time. But
baseball.
Yeah. That was Wednesday. So no, it wasn't baseball.
No, it wasn't baseball. Yeah, well, I'm talking Wednesday. I'm not.
Karl Anthony Towns had a good game, and of course Gobert was. I guess that's a good game from Gobert by his standards, but yeah, man, just it had that feel. Except KD didn't show up, so
yeah, it had that playoff atmosphere type of feel to it. The game was very intense. The Suns, they didn't look too well in the beginning, like for the first half, but then around the fourth quarter they got it going. And I think the wild card of the team is going to be Chris Paul. If Chris Paul plays well, I think the team is damn near unstoppable on the Western Conference. Because when they play the Bucks, it's going to be a different animal. But the Western Conference, if Chris Paul can do exactly what he did last night, come up big, come up huge in the fourth quarter like he did, then the Suns are going to be very hard to beat. Because Chris Paul this year, his age, you could definitely tell he's very old now because he's definitely showing it. And so it's going to come down to Chris Paul, and the fact that they were able to win the game, kudos to the Suns. Kudos to them because I needed them to beat the Timberwolves. Because if they would have lost, Lakers, more than likely, it'd been over. It would have been over because they wouldn't have caught the Timberwolves. So good job, Suns. I knew you guys could do it. And, yeah, let's get to the other games. Let's get to Thursday, right? And I was disappointed. I was looking forward to this game so much, and I'm talking about the Celtics and the Bucks game. Now, the Bucks coming off a back-to-back, so it's expected they're going to be tired. But 50 points, 50-point deficit? Damn. I knew you guys were tired, but at least show some effort. Your reaction to the game?
I did not watch the game because of the score, and this is my agenda took a hit. For my MVP agenda for Giannis took a hit. He was 11 for 27, which is abysmal. Everybody else played like crap too. I mean, Chris Middleton 5 for 13, Drew Holiday 2 for 8. I mean, it was just bad. Just all around, everyone stunk up the joint.
Let me.
It's just one of those days. And Jason Tatum, we seen you, Jason Tatum. You was stat padding, and you was up like 40 points, and you was still in the game trying to get stat. We seen you. We seen you.
Man, let me say this. I don't care if it's a back-to-back. You down 50? 50? At home? On primetime TV? Y'all can't do this. Everybody was looking forward to this game. This is a big game. You guys are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. And you don't show no effort. Like, I was looking at Jason Tatum. There was times he was getting in the lane. Nobody was touching him. Jaylen Brown getting in the lane. Nobody's touching him. They were getting by easily. Grayson Allen, he was just letting guys go by him left and right. It was atrocious. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. All of you players should be donating half of your game check to some type of charity for what you guys did. Because that was, matter of fact, the fans deserve a refund after what you guys displayed. It was so bad, Brian, that one of the sideline reporters started interviewing a fan on Courtside. They were talking to the fan about, yeah, my son and her, me and my son, we're happy being here and everything, and just talking about how good the organization is. It was that bad that they had to resort to interviewing a fan, of all things. My gosh. Just disrespectful. And then the next game was bad, too. Because there was no Jokic. The Pelicans, they were having their way on the Nuggets. It was just a disgrace of a Thursday night.
The streets are saying the Nuggets is ducking that Lakers matchup. The streets said it, not me.
It's funny. It really is. There's something going on in the NBA because I've been seeing some teams sit out a player, sit out a key player. Jokic sitting out. Portland, all of a sudden, they sitting out Dame and everything. OKC sitting. It's interesting. The Lakers, they need certain teams to lose. And all of a sudden, Embiid gonna sit out against of this team that we need to lose. Jokic gonna sit out against this team that we need to lose. It's interesting.
The
right?
league is finally fighting back after the free throw discrepancy that the Lakers have.
Hey man,
They're trying to stick it to the man.
hey man, I don't care what you say because
This is for the
beginning-
betterment of the league.
from the beginning of the season up to before the All-Star break, the Lakers weren't getting any calls. They were getting hold. For crying out loud, we lost the game because a freaking ref swallowed his whistle. Pause, by the way. He literally saw LeBron get smacked on the wrist and decided, I'm not going to call it.
Good.
That's why I don't respect people when these analysts were like, I think it was it the San Diego State game? It was one college game in the Elite Eight, and they were like somebody got fouled or whatever at the end of the game. I think it may have been FAU. Somebody got fouled at the end of the game, and they were like, "You can't make that call. You can't call that. Then you got to be consistent." Like, I don't want to hear it. A foul is a foul, and it was blatant too. I don't want to hear it because if you were a fan of that team, you wouldn't be saying that. You'd be like, call the foul. I don't want to hear that. Because timing matters. Timing of the game matters. When the game is man, I don't want to hear all that. Excuses. He fouled him. But anywho. Yeah, it's funny. It really is. I think the league is I think the Western Conference, they don't want to see the Lakers in the first round.
I wouldn't either. Not with them refs. You got to fight LeBron, AD, and the refs. No, thank you.
Okay, whatever. Worry about your Bucks.
We still number one seed.
I know, you guys are. So, yeah, man, you guys got your ass whooped last night.
You see, you're not even paying attention. That's how I know. This is all a game of chess.
A game of chess?
Yeah. We're
what?
giving the Celtics a false sense of security. They think, oh, yeah, we beat them by 41. We should be eyeing the play. No, that's not how this works.
You guys didn't
We giving
show
them
up at all.
we giving them a false sense of security.
That was a disgrace. If I would
We gave them a freebie so we could cook them in the playoffs.
imagine spending $200 to watch that game. That would be terrible. Absolute terrible. Highway robbery. But speaking of, I want to talk about Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. So, oh man, I posted a little short giving my commentary about it, and I was disappointed that we weren't able to get a rematch. And, people in the comment section, there was a few people saying, oh, you know what? Yeah, Joel Embiid, sit out. You don't got to prove nothing. You already bested him the first time. And here's the thing. I think the past 3 years, Joel Embiid hasn't played one game in Denver.
Really?
Yes. It hasn't been since the 2019-2020 season that Joel Embiid has played in Denver. So for the past 3 seasons, Joel Embiid has been ducking Jokic in Denver. But he'll play him in Philly. So this is where my frustration lies. And it's that the regular season, I love the regular season. I love watching regular season basketball. When it comes down to a storyline like this where it's two guys competing for the MVP and each game can determine who has the lead and who doesn't, and agendas are being pushed, the organization says, you know what, we're going to monitor Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? It's not even a back-to-back. He's had a game. He had a day off, right? We're going to let him sit out. And we're not going to get that rematch. And I know for certain a lot of fans were looking forward to that game. They spent a lot of money, a lot of their good earned money to go watch that game because they wanted to see Jokic versus Embiid. And the fact that we didn't get that, shame on the 76ers. I'm not even going to blame Joel Embiid because this is the organization's fault. They were the one that said, we're going to sit out Joel Embiid. Because Joel Embiid, he played a back-to-back. I think it was Phoenix, and then I think it may have been the Mavericks. So he played a back-to-back. So I'm not mad at Joel Embiid. I'm mad at the organization. And these NBA teams do not care about the fans. They don't. All they care about is the bottom line, and they know that they're going to get money no matter what. That's why the ratings are suffering. Because every night we do not know if the player's going to play, if the top guy's going to play. Like last night, what happened with Denver? Jokic didn't play. So guess what? The game was unwatchable. They were getting their ass whooped by the Pelicans without Zion Williamson. This is what I'm talking about. And I think now Nikola Jokic is the odds-on favorite to win the MVP because Joel Embiid sat out. Or I think he's either the odds-on or they're tied right now. But Kendrick Perkins, he spoke about this. He was like, I'm going to remember Joel Embiid sitting out this game. And he said this game will be one of the reasons why he sort of votes for the MVP. And I think what's going to happen when it's all said and done, and I think Nikola Jokic is going to win the MVP. And it's because the game's played. And people are going to be mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to be so frustrated about this. And when that happens, I'm going to be so happy. You know why? Because this will show that games actually matter. Playing in the game actually matters now. Because I'm seeing all these all-NBA players, these players getting in the all-NBA and playing 50 games, playing 55 games. I love LeBron, but for the past 2-3 seasons, he's been getting in all-NBAs and playing 55 games. I can't respect any of that. Kawhi Leonard, I think the first year with the Clippers, he may have played 55 or 60 games, making all-NBA. I can't respect that. You have to play the games to get the rewards. And I hope and I pray when Jokic plays 70 games and he wins the MVP and Embiid I would say he probably plays 62, 63. I hope Jokic wins the MVP because this will be a sign of things to come. This will be a sign. And people are going to be frustrated. But this is fair, in my opinion. What would you say? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I guess it makes sense. If the game's play discrepancy is that big, then and one is the number one seed in their conference, I mean, makes sense to me.
You feel like Embiid was ducking the smoke against Jokic in Denver?
You say he just played a back-to-back?
Yeah,
and that's why they rested him?
I think so, yeah. They were just trying to be cautious. I mean, they say, it's a calf injury, but I think he did practice earlier in the morning, but then all of a sudden they decided, we're just going to send him out to rest him.
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, I agree.
It is interesting that he hasn't played in Denver the past 3 seasons, but I don't think he's ducking them.
I agree with you. He's not ducking it, but I do think it's stupid that the team would let him play the back-to-back. Why not let him rest one of those games and then play Jokic in Denver?
Well, when you think about it, I guess you make sense.
It makes no sense. Why would you do that?
Maybe they expected to drop one of them games and would rather it be against the best team versus the worst team. I don't know.
They're all Western Conference teams. It makes no sense to me. It's just that's why people were like, "Is he ducking him?" But I just don't understand it. I just don't. And he could have solidified the award if he would have, showed up against Jokic and beat the Denver Nuggets. He would have solidified. But here's another thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Jokic and Embiid, because this was here's an interesting stat, right? So whenever their teams don't have him on the floor. So for instance, their record when Nikola Jokic isn't playing this season, the Denver Nuggets record is 3-6.
Okay.
So, when Joel Embiid isn't playing, 76ers record is 9-5. So that just speaks to one, 76ers has a better roster by far. A better depth by far. And number 2, Nikola Jokic, he has to overcome a lot more than what Joel Embiid has to overcome. Because Joel Embiid has James Harden. He has actual star with him. He has Tyrese Maxey, who, hey man, he has that potential to be an all-star one day. Mm-hmm. He has that potential, and then you have Tobias Harris, and then you have a solid bench. Like they have a lot of pieces. While with Jokic, his second best guy is Jamal Murray, and Jamal Murray hasn't been that guy since the bubble. So he has to overcome a lot. He has to do a lot just to keep his team afloat. And the fact that he is, that's why I have Jokic as my MVP. Because I just think that with all that he has to do, with all that's on his plate, I believe it's more impressive than what Joel Embiid is doing. Now, not taking away anything that Joel Embiid has done, because I will say, about a week and a half ago, I did have Joel Embiid over Jokic. So I will say that. But as of right now, currently, I have Nikola Jokic over Embiid. And that record speaks to itself. And then last night's game was another example because the Nuggets were atrocious. They are arguably a top 5 worst team in the league without Nikola Jokic because they lost to a Pelicans team who is well coached. I will say that. But they lost by like damn near 20. I think it was 20 points. And they scored like 88 points. And here's another thing. I was looking at, I think it was the scores of Nuggets games whenever they lose, right? And then also the wins as well. So I think the 6 losses, right? Only one game did they score over 100 points. Think about that. And the 3 games they did win, 2 of them they went over 110, and one of them they only scored 98 points. And they nearly lost to the Mavericks. Now, I don't know if Luka was playing that game, but he probably wasn't because I highly doubt the Mavericks are only scoring 97 points. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the Nuggets and what is on Nikola Jokic's shoulders all the time compared to the 76ers where they still have a really good team when it's no Joel Embiid. So I just wanted to...
Who's the starting center when Embiid isn't playing?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I forget his name. I don't know if... Yeah, I forget his name. I can't really say. That is a great question. But it's not like Denver has a good starting center either. They have Thomas Bryant. LeBron and Russ made Thomas Bryant look good. Because he's awful. He can't do nothing without those 2 guys. But
okay, here's my problem with the record thing.
Okay.
Because it doesn't include context.
Okay.
The 76ers could have been playing the worst teams in the league and got that record. And while the Nuggets could have been playing good teams or teams that play better than what their record states.
Well, let me go look at it real quick. So
because you brought up the Mavericks, the Pelicans. Those aren't pushover teams. They have legitimate star power. So it makes sense for them to win those games when the best player, the other team's best player isn't playing.
You make a good point, but at the same time, the Pelicans also were sliding with that same team. They were losing a lot of games with that same team. Now they gotten red hot recently, so you got to give them credit there. But you would think that a number 1 seeded team with Michael Porter Jr., with Jamal Murray and those guys, and a well-coached team would be able to at least get a 500 record without Jokic. But no, it's not. They desperately need Jokic. And just looking at some of the teams they faced, they played the Knicks, the Mavericks twice, the Clippers, the Pacers, the Thunder. Okay, the Bucks. That's
so bad. They've been playing playoff teams.
Now, I forgot what date it was because Minnesota. Because some of these teams could be like early in the season, right. Minnesota, New Orleans. So that's another thing you have to take you have to sort of look into is when did they play them, because some of these teams weren't very good in a certain portion of the season. But at the same time, a 3-6 record is a 3-6 record. And if you have Jokic on the floor, chances are you're probably winning those games. With Philly, on the other hand, I got to look at the records real quick. Got to look at it.
Sounds like the Nuggets played a bunch of teams that were in the running for playoffs.
Joel Embiid. Let me see.
That makes sense to me.
Let me see here. Okay, so. All right, so Philly played Toronto, Washington twice, New York.
Probably before.
Brooklyn. And this was when Brooklyn had Kevin Durant, Kyrie, Charlotte, which is, they're trash. Orlando twice. Indiana, Chicago, Detroit, Sacramento. They beat Sacramento. Interesting. They beat Miami, and they lost to Denver. Close to. They lost to really close. So, yeah, man. If they almost beat Denver. They beat Miami. Beat Sacramento. They beat Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
That team was trash.
They almost beat the Knicks with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I'm just saying. Those are some solid teams.
They also beat the Wizards twice.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Magic and the Pistons.
Yeah.
Those aren't good teams.
I know, but I just named you some solid teams during that stretch as well. So obviously you're gonna have some bad teams and you're gonna have some good teams.
But it seems like Jokic had mostly good teams.
Now I gotta look at
because you said the Thunder, the Timberwolves, the Clippers,
I have to look at the date of these. Let me see. Without Jokic, let me look at the date of these, because some of those teams were like they had a stretch where they were kind of bad. Okay, so start of the season, they lost to the Knicks at around November-ish. They lost to Dallas in November. They lost to Dallas again in November. Oh, no, they beat Dallas around November. November 20th. They beat the Clippers in January. They beat Indiana in January. They lost to OKC in January. They lost to Milwaukee in January. They lost to Minnesota in February, and they lost to New Orleans in March. So, I mean, again, that is a solid list. I will admit that is a solid list. But at the same time, Philly beat some really good teams. They also beat some really good teams, and they were very competitive in a lot of those teams. When I'm looking at the Nuggets, a lot of their losses, they're not very competitive at all. They can barely score 100 points. They can't even score 100 points most of the time. So their offense is very just atrocious without.
That's what happens when your center's the primary playmaker.
Well, they need some other guys to make some plays as well. That's another thing. Like Michael Porter Jr., he was supposed to be that guy, but he's not. Jamal Murray, he's not. So it's a lot of guys that are expected to be that, but they're not. So Jokic is going to have to, he has a lot more on his shoulders. Anywho, let's go to...
And that's why they will never win a ring.
Yeah, that's definitely why. They don't have another guy that they can rely on offensively. All right, so let's go to...
I put my life in these sentences. Fucking right, it's either that or life sentences. I'm relatives with Benjamin. I used to give a fuck about my luck when I was innocent. Now what the fuck is up? I'm at your neck like a Pendleton nigga. I